I must point out that from the very beginning, when the government passed regulations to restrict arrivals from the mainland or from other parts of the world under what we call the Cap 599C in respect of other parts of China and Cap 599E in respect of other parts of the world, there is always this exemption scheme. There's always this exemption scheme that will empower the government to exclude certain categories of arrivals from the prevailing quarantine arrangement, whether it is home quarantine, hotel quarantine, 14 days or 21 days. There is always that exemption scheme. And the authority to exempt has been delegated to the Chief Secretary for Administration. So in the past 15, 16 months, this Chief Secretary for Administration has been granting exemptions either by categories or by individuals where the cases justify that exemption. For example, scientists traveling in Hong Kong or people who are involved in the production of PPEs have to come to Hong Kong. So to put them under quarantine defeats the purpose of the whole regime. So that is point number one. We are not creating a new regime. We are not creating a new piece of law. That is always there. So the time has come for us to consider the revival of Hong Kong's economy, because as you will realize, the situation has far stabilized since the fourth wave hit us. In examining the economic activities that Hong Kong have to conduct at any point in time, there is a very important area called the financial center, because after all, Hong Kong is an international financial center. So the Financial Services and Treasury Bureau, in consultation with the regulatory authorities, have proposed that we should provide an alternative arrangement for these senior executives to come so that they can continue to conduct the very essential economic activities in Hong Kong. But let me make it very clear, if I may also draw your attention to some of the guidelines issue, it is not a free-for-all situation. It is putting these senior executives who have to be recognized individually by the regulatory bodies, whether it is the Securities and Futures Commission, the Insurance Authority, or Hong Kong Monetary Authority, that they have a real, genuine business purpose to come to Hong Kong. And when they are given that exemption to come to Hong Kong without being subject to the usual prevailing quarantine arrangements, they are subject to another set of, I would still call it a quarantine arrangement, which restricts their behaviors and their activities. So they have to stay in one designated spot. And then they have to travel to another designated spot for the business. For example, attend a meeting, consult lawyers on their IPOs and whatnot. And then they have to go back to that designated spot. They could not go out to the community at all. So even their itinerary is being controlled. So I think we have struck the right balance. On the one hand, in recognition of the economic needs of this city, and on the other hand, we have served the needed public health purposes.